In peaceful times, skills like imitating a rooster or crawling like a dog in the dark are nothing but a joke. They are crude, low, and unworthy of respect. But in the Warring States period, at the edge between life and death, those very skills could decide whether a man lived or disappeared forever. The man whose life depended on them was Lord Mengchang of Qi, Tian Wen. He was not known for holding high office, but for something far more unusual. He kept thousands of retainers. Men of all kinds gathered under his roof, not just scholars and strategists, but wanderers, tricksters, and people of questionable reputation. As long as someone had a skill, no matter how strange or dishonorable, he would accept them. Because of this, his name spread across the states. Tian Wen was born into a powerful aristocratic family of Qi. He was the son of Tian Ying, a high-ranking noble, and inherited both wealth and influence. But what made him truly exceptional was not his birth. It was how he used it. He became one of the famous four lords of the Warring States, alongside Lord Xinling of Wei, Lord Pingyuan of Zhao, and Lord Chunshen of Chu. These men were not kings, but they commanded immense influence. They gathered talent, built private networks of retainers, and often shaped the balance of power between entire states. In that era, the system of retainers was more than a social custom. It was a political force. A powerful lord's strength was not measured only by land or armies, but by the people he could attract and keep. Retainers could become advisors, spies, envoys, or agents. They carried messages, executed plans, and sometimes changed the course of history in ways no official record could fully capture. In the Warring States era, talent was one of the most valuable resources. Every state competed for capable people. To gain a single talented individual could mean gaining an advantage over rivals. So Qin, the most powerful state at the time, extended an invitation. They invited Lord Mengchang to visit Qin. At first, King Zhaoxiang of Qin received him with great honor. He was the great-grandfather of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. He admired Mengchang's reputation, his influence, and the vast network of men he commanded. For a moment, he even considered keeping him in Qin to serve as an advisor. But very quickly, someone spoke up. This man is not from Qin. If we use him, he may not truly serve Qin. And if we let him go, we are sending a man who has seen everything in Qin back to another state. Some even went further. If he cannot be used by Qin, then he should not be allowed to live. A man like this, if not ours, will one day stand against us. That single reminder changed everything. The respect did not disappear overnight, but something beneath it shifted. Trust turned into caution. Caution turned into suspicion. Mengchang was not imprisoned. He was not openly accused, but he could no longer leave. He had entered Qin as an honored guest. Now he had become something else, an asset being evaluated and a risk being contained. At that moment, he understood one thing clearly. If he did not act soon, he might never leave Qin alive. To escape, he needed someone close to the king to speak on his behalf. A favored concubine of the king was willing to help, but she asked for something in return, a white fox fur cloak. The cloak was extremely rare, light, warm, and valuable, and it had already been presented to the king of Qin. Now, to regain his freedom, Mengchang had to retrieve it from inside the royal palace. No ordinary person could do such a thing. Then, one of his retainers stepped forward. This man had no education, no rank, no respectable reputation. His only skill was theft. He was small, thin, and flexible. That night, he put on a dog skin. On all fours, he crept through a dog hole into the palace grounds. From a distance, the guards saw only what looked like a stray animal. They paid no attention. He waited. He watched. And when the guards grew tired and drifted into sleep, he moved. Quietly, he approached them. Carefully, he took the keys from their bodies. Then he unlocked the storage room where valuables were kept and took the fox fur cloak. It was a filthy job, undignified, beneath any honorable man. But it worked. Mengchang delivered the cloak to the concubine. She kept her promise. She spoke to the king, and King Zhaoxiang agreed, at least on the surface, to let Mengchang return to Qi. But Mengchang did not trust this decision. He knew too well how quickly a king could change his mind. A delay could mean death. So he did not wait. That very night, he left Qin. His destination was Hangu Pass, the eastern gate of Qin, and one of the most heavily guarded points in the entire state. When he arrived, the sky was still dark. The gates were closed. In that era, there were no clocks. Time was not measured by numbers, but by signs. The sky, water clocks, and most importantly, the crowing of roosters. The rule at Hangu Pass was simple. The gates would open only after the rooster crowed. But Mengchang could not wait for dawn. Behind him was Qin. At any moment, the king might regret his decision. At any moment, soldiers might be sent in pursuit. If he remained there until morning, he would be trapped between the gate and the army. Then another retainer stepped forward. His skill was even more ridiculous. He could imitate the crow of a rooster. In the darkness before dawn, he raised his voice and crowed. The sound was sharp, clear, and convincing. Nearby chickens heard it. Thinking that morning had come, they began to crow as well. One after another, their voices spread. Soon, the silence of the night was filled with the sound of roosters. The guards at the gate heard it. To them, this meant only one thing. It was time. They opened the gates. Mengchang and his men did not hesitate. They drove forward at once and passed through Hangu Pass. Not long after they left, Qin's pursuing troops arrived. If the gates had remained closed, even for a short while longer, Mengchang would have been trapped. And once trapped, there would have been no escape. The difference between capture and survival came down to two men, one who crawled like a dog and stole a cloak, and one who crowed like a rooster in the dark. In peaceful times, such men would be despised. Their skills would be laughed at. They would be dismissed as insignificant. But at the edge of life and death, those same skills became the only things that mattered. This is why later generations used the phrase cock crow and dog thieves to describe petty, lowly abilities. But the story itself tells a different truth. In times of order, these abilities are shameful. In times of crisis, they are survival. And in the world of power, one rule stands above all others. Great men do not fall because of their enemies. They fall because of the things they once chose to ignore. If you want to hear more strange but true stories from Chinese history, subscribe to Imperial Absurdity.